We are back to the warehouse for Ball and Play 2. The boys are heated and angry on this one. Let's talk ball. Welcome to the What's Ball Boys, a podcast about ball, sports, and warehouse, but lately about ball in play. I'm your co-host, Brendan Ruppel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey.
Hey, Brendan. Debated about
Hey.
saving this, but scoreboard error.
Peter.
Brendan and I talked about this earlier.
Save it.
We told Nate there was a scoreboard error in this game, and let's just say
Peter noticed, and you
I noticed it, and I'm sure other people noticed as well.
I was going to say this, but I'm going to say it like at the first second I can talk.
Brendan, I was so worried that I was going to forget. I have it mentioned in our notes maybe 4 times, and I was so nervous I was going to forget to bring it up.
You'll see by my burn that I wouldn't have given you a chance to forget.
Well, okay, well, at least good thing I brought it up so that I took credit and didn't have you take credit.
Damn it. That's
I
why
texted Brendan earlier today, though, and I was like, just got through like the first inning. There's a scoreboard error.
Yeah, Woogas should have won by like 40 points.
Yeah. It's crazy. All of Wooga's runs from the first inning were given to Baggage for some reason, so not sure why. But, you mentioned your burn, Brendy. Why don't you go for it?
Why don't you shove it up your ass?
Why don't you take it? Shove it up your fucking ass. Go ahead, Brendy. Burn away, and then we'll talk about this a little bit.
It's Baggage versus Woogas as Father Shay looks to bury baby Sanjay and his little friends too. Woogas starts with the bat and they put up a big inning as Luke tells Shay he's his father. Baggage answers with a big inning of their own. Rob only hits for power as he hits 4 to the power of 4, giving them 16 runs on 4 straight swings. Woogas then takes the lead, but the Blue Shirts still think they have this one in the baggage. And like the opposite of baseball, it was the no balls that lost Woogas the game in the end. Baggage wins the game 72-72.
There it is.
There it is.
The game ended 72-72 because of a scoreboard error. It's no big deal. Brendan and I talked about it. We talked to Nate about it too. The referee, famously. Very great guy. Baggage walked off, quote unquote, in the first ball of the third over, which ended up not being a ball because it was a wide. So they still had to face 6 good balls, and I can't see Luke going golden from that point on. Especially because Rob was at the plate and he was super hot at the time.
Yeah.
So regardless, I think Baggage would have won. But it is like I texted in the group chat with me, you, and Nate. I wish Rob hit a boundary or a 6, just so that there would be like
your own like mental.
No
solace.
doubt. Yeah, I'm going to think about this forever, Brendan. It's going to bother me forever.
This game is incomplete.
But it's fine. It is what it is. Baggage would have won anyways. But we'll get into the game now.
We'll get into that again later. We're going to rehash this whole thing.
One thing I do want to say, Shay versus Sanjay, right? Or Sanjay. We had you said they were kind of going against each other as the two pros. It is crazy how much shit Shay talked before this tournament, only to be like subpar player within the tournament, and Sanjay like being fantastic.
Right, just like kind of, even though he was on the losing side of this effort, was a big player, a big character in this game, and it was really great. I think was still better than Shay overall in this game. Still, like there's some guff that happens between the two guys in particular later on. But Shay, I think Shay, if we're talking generally right now, Father Shay definitely looked a little bit better in this game than last game. Is starting to figure it out. I know. Was it Nate that said this to us yesterday that the two guys in the last game, in the Loveys,
Mo and Hamad.
Yeah, those two guys, I think they were the ones that showed up early to play a little bit in the warehouse to kind of get the feel. Like that makes sense. That shows, and you can see guys like Shay and even like Sanjay a little bit like didn't so much practice to get rid of their quickest.
Nate was telling us that Sanjay figured out bowling minutes before his first game,
which is nuts,
insane because he was fantastic. But Shay took the mound to start off bowling, and immediately like started off with a wide, and that was not what you want if you want to like start this game off on the right foot.
Right.
He ends up going through the first over with 5 wides. Other than the 5 wides, not a bad over at all. Only giving up 15 runs, which is
If you take the
a
5 out,
little above average. Yeah.
Right.
But that's you take out the 5 run no balls. And did they even run on? Yeah, they ran on one of them. So you take out 6. So it's 9 runs off of hits in the first over.
So you just clean it up a little bit. That's a good over. Like, of course, you can't assume like if he's throwing the ball more over the plate.
Ball. You talking like me now?
Yeah, the ball. I was combining ball and over somehow. The ball over. If you clean that up a little bit, you can't just assume he's going to just throw for 9 because if you're throwing more towards the middle of the plate and trying not to get wides, they'll probably hit you harder. So he might have ended up around 15 anyway. But,
not to mention one of the wides did result in a wicket. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it was the second one he threw. He got 2 dots in a row on Jimmy before throwing a wide where Luke and Jimmy start running. But Luke started running. Jimmy was still looking back at the ball that passed by, said, "Oh shit, I gotta go." And then Jake just very calmly and, very impressively, because we've seen them some of the wicket keepers have this situation where they just miss entirely, hits the wickets in the back on the far side to get Jimmy to run out.
We were saying this last time too, how we think that's going to be a more and more common play because usually if the runner in the back is taking a lead, they're going to get to the striker side wickets too quickly for the wicketkeeper to react on that end. So throw it down to second base.
Right. Then Jimmy comes up and plays like a pseudo silly point, like not close enough to be silly point, but still like decently close.
A little goofy.
On Sanjay. Sanjay hits it right off of him, and they run for 1.
He really takes a beating in this game, the poor guy.
Yeah. Then you have big hitter Luke step up, where he hits a boundary where Rob couldn't get down in time to block it. Then you get the wide parade coming again. Sanjay comes back up. This time Jimmy's playing in the same position. Doesn't matter. Solid 4. And then he hits one back to Shea for a dot, and Shea gets through his first bowling over. Really not bad at all.
Right, like we're saying these incremental improvements. Like the bowling was a little bit better than last. I think he bowled a 1 over last time. It was just a little ugly. I forget. Off the top of my head.
This was his.
Or maybe he didn't even bowl anything. So then, if that's the case, not a bad debut.
Yeah, Jimmy and Rob were the only 2 who bowled last time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so first time out, not bad. You see this a lot with new bowlers. Like they will throw wides here and there. I'm sure if he gets more experience, he'll do this. It's also good to try him out right now, too, because like we've been saying, this is the round-robin period of the tournament. Let's see what Shea's got.
Figure it out.
He's a serviceable dude.
He's good. He's decent. He's pretty good. I mean, if you're turning baggage into a bowling first team, then he's doing a good job. I mean, limiting Woogas to 72 when they let up 103 last time is certainly an improvement. I mean, granted, look at who you're playing. The team that has, arguably the second least most amount of warehouse experience.
Yeah.
For this tournament, at least for this sport. But then Jimmy comes in to pitch, to bowl. My bad. And he does what Jimmy does. There's Shea catches a wicket from Luke. Other than that, he puts up 26 runs in 2 overs straight. Gets a good amount of dot balls. He ended the day with 9 dot balls, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's the most that we've seen in one game from a bowler. I wanted him to get the 10th one so badly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen 8s, but we have never seen a 9 from one bowler. Excuse me. Just a great job holding him. They held him to 41 in the first, which Jimmy was saying was up until the last over where Sanjay was hitting. He hit 3 4s in a row. Like Jimmy thought that they won the inning at the half inning at that point, and then he hit those overs. He said, "Well, we got some work to do, but we could do it for sure."
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see Jimmy pitch or bowl. Oh, I did it to you. That's on you. You got
my
that
fault.
Stuck in my head.
I'll take the blame.
Thank you. It's interesting to see Jimmy bowl in this tournament because he was pretty damn good, especially in, I think, Captain's League. He was pretty dominant.
Yeah.
So far, he hasn't hit his stride yet, just because him being like a wicket-inducing type of bowler, you're going to throw it over the plate a lot. So he's getting hit a little bit, and his runs per over are higher than an elite bowler, in my opinion.
Right.
But he's still giving you good length. He's giving you golden bowler appearances, and like between those two, you said 26 total, so like 13 per over is not off. That's good. It's serviceable. He's not throwing a bunch of wides. He's not putting you in a bad spot. He's giving you. He's almost like an inning eating horse on your baseball team. Like he's like a guy.
An
That's
inning what?
An inning eating horse. I know.
Can you spell that for us, please? Give us the first letter.
E.
Brendan. Is it an
that's
H or a
close.
W?
Oh, H.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know where you were at. So, Jimmy's like an eating whore. No.
I was like, wow, Brendan's really doubling down on this and not clarifying at all.
Inning eating horse, like it's so a guy that will regularly give you like a 7-inning outing with like 3 runs. Like he's not going to completely dominate, but will put you in a great spot to finish the game.
I was kind of surprised. Like, go ahead, listen back to our Ball and Play Captain's League episode where we talk about Jimmy's bowling because it was impeccable over there. I was almost surprised when Chris Rose said that, oh, Jimmy's great for durability, but like you kind of want to see him during this tournament. They had the stats up where it was saying that he had a 20 economy, which shocked me. And then by the end of this game, he brings it down to a 15.6. I think at the beginning of the game it was around 18, roughly.
Right.
18 something, not quite 20, but by my calculations at least. But I was kind of shocked where he was like, yeah, you kind of don't mind seeing Jimmy.
Yeah.
But it's exactly like you said. From what Nate has told us, from what Jimmy has said out loud, what Nate has said out loud too on our episodes, high wicket bowlers typically also come with high economies.
Right.
And Jimmy was kind of an anomaly in the Captain's League Ball and Play, which is why he won MVP, because he was so good with his bowling.
Right.
And he's kind of coming back down to earth, but at the same time, for a player who has 3 wickets in this tournament to his name when he's bowling, he really doesn't have that high of an economy. I mean,
yeah, I think you still want him in a situation where it's a big game in a big spot, like, because there's still a chance that he, being a wicket-inducing bowler, that he can get you out of an inning very fast with 3 wickets. He has that ability. And I don't know cricket well enough to know if this is like a thing that like a stat people keep track of, but like, say he gets you out of an entire inning super early, is there like say he only gives up 9 runs in one entire inning? I think that should count towards your economy almost, like your full-on economy. Like if that were 18 good pitches, even if it was only like 5, but he gets you out of the inning super early. You know what I mean? I wonder if there's a way to track that.
Kind of.
I guess you could do it. I don't know if it's a real stat or not.
You could. Theoretically, you definitely could. But Jimmy did it. Great seems like too big of a word. He did a very good job bowling in this first over. On average, by the end of this game, the new average runs per completed over is 13.36. So he did just slip under that below average line, but more along the lines he is average.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, we have a new high, and it's from Baggage again. That's crazy. That didn't even register with me. So Baggage now is the holders of the highest runs per over. Formerly in their first game, they got 26 in the very last one, and now perfect. They get 31 in this first one. Wow. In this first over. Is that right? That can't be right. Yeah, that's not right.
That's not
right. Where's
right.
this 31 coming from? Oh, it's the second over. I'm sorry.
Oh.
In the second over with Rob and Jake going just absolutely nuts. But in this first over, this is the Shea redemption over. kind of. He only gets 4 balls, and on 2 of them, 0 score. But the other 2, he and this is where we'll talk about the scoreboard incident. Rob starts off the over, pops one up for just 1 as they run, right? Shea comes up, redemption on the mind. But it's not about redemption, Brendan.
It's not.
What's it about?
Was it destroying them?
Or revenge. It's not about revenge.
It's not about revenge. It's about domination. There we go.
Yeah. Sorry, that's on me. I tripped you up.
We both fucked that up.
I tripped you up. Oh, man, this is the Petey Dell loser episode today. I just keep fucking everything.
Let's make our own shirt. It's not about redemption. It's about destroying them.
Fuck. What was it again?
The whole thing is on the shirt.
Yeah. But then Shea starts off pretty good. Gets 2 4s on his first balls. Right? His second one was particularly fun, where he jumps across the zone and scoops it to the back wall. Very fun, very showy. Then this is where the incident happened, where I have it noted. I have it highlighted in red, where Shea gets hit with a ball. It's ruled a no ball, but they run. The players run. It's a dead ball. It should just be 1 run. Scorebug and Scoreboard both say that they get 2 runs for the no ball. Could have been 1. Game actually ends 72-72. Again, I think Baggage would have won regardless.
But
Shea gets just a note. Put it in the note. Doesn't affect the game.
Just affects your sleep.
From what we heard from we texted Nate. It's happened at the highest level. So, it happens.
Yeah.
Then he gets a dot ball against him. Then he pops the ball up, and Sanjay catches it and does the least aggressive spike I've ever seen in my life to get the wicket. Right? Yeah. I had to rewatch it. I was like, "There's no. Am I on 0.5 speed? Like, what the fuck is going on here?"
He just dropped the ball.
It was weird, but whatever.
Hey, he's not a football player.
Not a football player.
Yeah.
Then Jake comes in to show his muscles and gets dotted to end the over. Sanjay has a great over with his first one, giving up only 10 runs. Incredible.
Shows his muscles and gets dotted.
Yeah.
Watch this, guys. Oops.
Hey, watch this. What do you mean he already pitched?
Yeah, the ball comes through.
Great over, but for the benefit of Baggage, because of that 1 no ball, they don't see Sanjay again until the 2nd inning. And Sanjay is very, very good. From our economy, what would you call it? Average, our actual economy that we're calculating. He has a 13.44 best overall economy on Woogas. Largely, that's kind of increased because I want to say he pitched an over later on where that was 12 runs. So he got kind of touched up in that first game after they saw his tell.
Right.
But then in this game, he's bringing it down.
Yes, I think because he mentioned in his post game after that first game, like, I want to make sure I don't tell. I think he still does. I was looking forward a little bit, and like you can tell, but it's easier to see from an audience standpoint than it is to be in the batter's box trying to see as you're trying to swing at the same time. There's a lot more noise going around. It's easier to see from the couch, obviously, but I think he did a better job of covering it up. But yeah, him, like you said before, though, his wide is important because not only do they not see him again, but it also forces Woogas to pitch a 3rd bowler, which is important because usually you don't have 3 great bowlers. You have 2 pretty solid ones, maybe 2 great ones.
Not to mention,
maybe just 1 great one, but like no one really has a 3rd awesome bowler.
Well, not to mention their whole strategy coming into this game was to not have Dan or Jimmy bowl.
Yeah.
Woogas. So that kind of gets blown up in this next inning where Luke comes into bowl, and Luke, as we're starting to see, like I said, he gives up 31, the new high for the warehouse.
Yeah.
31 runs in this
That's
over.
Not so good.
It's not so good. But every single ball is a boundary. You have 4 4s given up to Rob, and then 2 6s given up to Jake. Not to mention, they have a wide where they run, which Rob almost gets run out on. but he doesn't.
Very close.
And then another wide for 1. And when you take a step back and look at this, and you say, hey, 41 is great. We've had word from people in this tournament
that's
last
good.
time tell us 40 is what you're looking for an inning.
And
That's
especially if you do it first, it puts a lot of pressure on the other team.
And then you're getting 3/4 of that taken away in just 1 over.
Yeah.
It's got to be so disheartening.
And but this wasn't even their third guy. So this was like one of the guys that they planned on bowling no matter what. And he gives up this much.
Well, I think that Luke is probably their third guy.
But they knew after
hierarchy?
they didn't get a golden bowler, they're like, let's throw him in the middle.
No, I think that they for this specific game, their plan was Sanjay and Luke.
Okay.
Just to get Luke reps.
Gotcha.
They didn't want Jimmy to bowl because they don't want people to see Jimmy too much. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you're on Woogas and you're listening to this, please reach out and tell us if that was your strategy or not.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Jimmy come in for the third over of the first inning, like we were talking about. And he does a decently good job. Gives up 11 runs in total. Really not bad at all.
When they're not absolutely demolishing you, and there's a lot of
4.
ones. Yeah.
First one, another 4 by Rob. Rob kind of went nut job.
Rob started to figure out his Captain's League stroke for sure.
Yeah. Then, he pops one off the ceiling for 1. Then Jake gets dotted on the first pitch on an insane curveball.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's a wide and they run, but Rob gets run out because Luke moves his hands so fast and is able to collect the ball and just tap it. And Rob gets out by like that much.
Yeah.
Crazy.
On first look, I thought he was safe.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then they slowed it down. And Luke is a very good defensive wicketkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good defensive wicketkeeper. Kind of crazy that they ran on that, but whatever.
I want to say that maybe not, or maybe most of the wicketkeepers don't make that play though.
Yeah,
besides Luke.
but you got to know who you're up against. It's third over.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy comes in, and we talked about this baggages last episode. Jimmy is not a boundary guy. Like, he can do it if he wants to, but Jimmy is much more of a keep the game going, get little baby runs here and there, get the strong guys up.
Yeah,
because
think about the way he plays blitzball. Same thing, Peppers.
Yeah. Baggage is a team with 3 boundary guys on it, and then Jimmy, who's mostly a bowler and a strategist.
Mm-hmm. Like, he fits in the lineup well for that exact role. It's like, well, if we need to not wicket ourselves out, I'll be up there, and I'll just keep peppering.
But this is where Jimmy gets his big play of the game, where Jimmy taps it, and they start running, and they're fucking throwing the ball around. So they go for 2. They get the 2, and then Jimmy starts to go for 3, but Jake ran too far past the line. Jimmy notices, puts on the brakes, runs back, and dives and slams his fucking chin against the ground.
Looks bad. I'm sure it hurt like a bitch.
Yep.
Probably smashed his teeth in a little bit.
Yeah.
Chin probably hurts. Luckily, he has a beard. The beard probably had a little bit of cushion to it. Helps bit. Moderately.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's like a nice little Tempur-Pedic pillow.
Yeah. That's
what it is.
An egg crate for your bed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about.
You know.
Then he gets hit for a wide. Then Jimmy hits the ball right at Dan Rourke. They're running. Dan misses the wickets. Pretty sure he yells fuck before he even throws it. Luke is able to really big time play, stop the errant throw from getting too crazy, holds them to 1. And then
this is Jimmy's game. Like, he's going to be out there when he has the opportunities. He's going to run because he's an aggressive runner and a smart runner, and he's usually not going to get.
Well, yeah, and speaking on that, the next play, Jake pops one up for 1 as they're run, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're running till we get a wicket." They run, and they get run out, and they're inning 52-41 with an 11-run lead. Mm-hmm. The video says 12-run lead. Just remember this.
Right.
11-run lead going into the second, which is great, because then Jimmy says something crazy. Jimmy Norp says something crazy. Kelsey Wingard asks him, how many runs does he need to feel confident? And then Jimmy Norp goes, about 30 more. And I was sitting there like, that means that they have, by your count, only 28 to make up.
And even if he meant like he wants to be 30 ahead, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not
Kind of crazy.
I think he's new to this this sport.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think he's on the spot too. He's like, I don't know, 30's like 30. I think in general, like they've learned that like it's a pretty solid inning. But now the situation has changed. Now that you're down 10 or 12.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to face John Boy again when he's bowling, and he starts off again against Jimmy with a dot, and then another dot. And John Boy's like going nuts. And the reason I'm saying John Boy right now is because it's John Boy versus Jimmy.
Yes.
Kind of confusing. Just a little confusing.
Jimmy's dad is there.
Jimmy's dad is there, shit talking Jimmy the entire time.
Very funny. I really enjoyed that dynamic of hearing like, so what do you think's gonna happen here when he's like pitching to Luke? He's like, well, Luke's the much better athlete. Jimmy made sure of that because he was 10 years older than him and then loves playing sports with him, so just trained him into being this beast of an athlete that he never was. Like he knows his son so well. Said like, oh, Jimmy's a head case, so Luke's gonna hit this and he's gonna overthink everything. Like knows his son's to a T.
Yeah,
so funny.
Knows.
Peter, you can make that joke because
I can make that joke. I'm Italian, big nose. My grandma had a potato nose.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I have a big nose too. Look, I do the Lady Gaga thing.
If I make a specific face, the one I was just making, you'll see it later in the video.
Damn it!
I can hook my nose.
Oh, you kind of can, yeah.
Like a witch.
Like a strega nonna.
Like. It's a mia strega nonna.
Replace Mario in every game with strega nonna.
It's a mia strega nonna.
This is a better game.
Jimmy then is able to catch a hold of one, past Rob for a 4. Like this game, defensively, Rob was like, I feel like every time he just missed one, he made up for
the next one. Right?
Like to make up for it. The next one. That's what happens here, where he stops one. And it's like every time Rob misses one, that means a stop is coming. And every time he stops one, that means he's going to miss one pretty soon. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. It was like a net zero on this. But then Jimmy throws his first wide of the game. John Boy. I'm sorry. John Boy. John Boy throws his first wide of the game. And I believe
John Boy throws his first wide.
It's only his third wide of the tournament. But his first wide of the game, which is kind of what you want, or at least what you think you want when you're Woogas, because you know that you're probably you're gonna face Shea again, who's a wide machine right now, or you're gonna have to face somebody else. And the last time that Rob came in, I believe, let's see. How much did he give up the last time that Rob? His what's it called was pretty high. He had given up 33 runs in 2 overs. So pretty high.
Pretty high.
So it's kind of like, okay, this is good. We could put a nice little gap between us. Mm-hmm. Shea comes into bowl. I'm sorry. Like we said before, Jimmy throws an ephus. Okay? He throws an ephus to Luke and dots him, and then Luke gets one off the back wall as Rob goes to reach out for it with his foot and misses. Mm-hmm. But Jimmy only lets up 10 runs total, which is crazy because I feel like
it's a good spot to be.
A lot went on. Not if you're Woogas.
I mean, at that pace, Woogas is exactly where they want to be. They want to hit 30.
That's true.
10 per over.
You got me. You got me. Then Shea comes in, and Shea continues to be a wide machine. The only good thing about Shea throwing a lot of wides is that Shea is also very good at inducing hits that don't go for boundaries.
Yeah, he's almost like effectively wild, sort of.
Right. The hits that he let up in this over was 1 to Jay. Luke pops up, and Jimmy grabs it, knocks over the wickets, gets... I'm sorry, not Jay. Jimmy hits a 1. Luke pops one up. Jimmy grabs it, gets the wickets on the other side, gets Jimmy out. John Boy gets it, gets Jimmy out on the other side because he grabs it and quickly knocks over the wickets. Sanjay comes up, pops the ball up. They run for just one. I'm sorry, Luke gets run out. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
The Jimmies are tough.
It's so confusing. Jimmy then steps back up, hits a 6, hits a 4, and then a dot ball. So Shea had a pretty good inning if you take away those 1, 2, 3 runs worth of wides. Because then
he wasn't getting hit hard at all.
12. He would have given up 12 runs otherwise. Mm-hmm. He gave up 15. So if Shea can figure it out, if Shea can just get more accurate,
even cut down the wides in half, maybe like you could keep some of them just because if that's how you induce like poor contact, then that's all right. But just you can't do that many. You can't do that many. Yeah,
8 is way too many. 8 is way too many. But then Rob comes in, right? So at this point, if you're Woogas, you must be thinking Rob had a stinker first time out. Mm-hmm. An average of 16.5 runs allowed. This is great for us. We just scored 15. We scored 10 the one before this. This is fantastic for us. Rob comes in and bowls probably the best he could have bowled. Letting up 1-1, then a pop-up to Shea for Shea to catch a wicket, get Sanjay out. Mm-hmm. Dot ball against Dan. And then what I thought was a wide at first, but Dan admits it tips the bat, so they get 4, right? And then a dot ball to end it. How many fingers do I have holding it?
4.5.
6 runs Rob lets up.
It was also Rob, I think, too, was like, or at least a couple members of Baggage were saying, like, yeah, that tipped. So they were being good sportsmen.
It wasn't controversial.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't controversial.
But Dan was just funny. He was like, of course I meant to do that. Like, acts like he reversed it to the back wall.
Baggage is a very fair team when it comes to this sport, and it's most sports that are like made up. We saw it in slap ball, where Jake was calling fouls on his own team and things like that. Like,
right.
They're very, very fair when it comes to things like that. But 6 runs from Rob. Insane. We get a nice celebration in Dan's face to end the inning. And they're up by our count, 72-52. Only 20 runs, 21 if you go by the video. And it kind of feels like...
That felt like a dagger.
That was a dagger. I thought this was going to be over in an inning and a half.
A little bit quicker than it was. That's why, like, as it goes along, as we'll see, like, it felt like, all right, maybe Woogas has a chance here to shut them down. Like, we've seen crazier things. Now it happens, but Baggage definitely puts themselves in a great position going to this bottom of the second. But I was just going to quickly say that the Rob taunting of Dan Rourke is so funny, and I didn't know if it was something I missed that happened on the field earlier to spark this, or if it's just some like friendly thing that they do because they're coworkers and there's some, like, I guess behind the scenes stuff that maybe Rob made a bet with Dan or something. I don't know if there's more to this fake rivalry.
Well,
I'd love to know about it because it definitely did real talk piss off Dan Rourke. And it's so funny that Jake
Dan
comes
was
up to
getting
him.
steamed.
He's getting real steamed, and then Jake comes up to him next, and he's able to simultaneously be quote unquote respectful to Jake while still being so pissed off, and says, "I don't call you motherfucker. You're my fucking boss." And says the same thing to Chris Rose, and Chris is like, "I'm not your boss." He's like, "You're my boss."
That did make me laugh.
I guess because Dan's just like, well, you're older than me, and I respect you a lot. You're my boss.
Yeah, I like Dan a lot. Funny. Dan's very entertaining.
He was really pissed though. Like he was really mad, guy. And I love that, like, that being such a little fucking stinker by Rob is so funny to the guy.
Yeah.
Like, I relate to that so much. Being a stinker myself and playing sports with all my friends, being such a shit when you know someone's pissed off, you just really dig the needle in even further.
Yeah,
I love that.
I don't like being like that, but I know I am like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I'll be a little shithead and then I'll go out to my position and be like, that wasn't very nice of me.
Sometimes you can't help it. You see the opportunity.
It would be a lot of like going back to my position being like, I really hope they know I'm just joking around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 31 years old. I'm not trying to, like, make fun of somebody for making a bad pitch.
Yeah, that sort of scenario would end up in fistfights with my friend groups a lot of time.
So when we used to play soccer, like when we were younger in college, like we'd go home for the summer and play soccer. Like, my best friend, Tenzer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a goalie most of the time when we play soccer. And if I was ever on the other team and I'd score on him, I'd get just like what Rob did, right in his face, and he'd always fucking full force shove me to the ground every time. And I'd be like,
It's
come
in
on.
a real league?
No, it's pickup.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
and that
been in a real
when
league,
we'd
that's
have
crazy.
when we'd stop for like halftime or we'd stop to change up the teams or whatever, I'd go up and be like, I'm just joking. He's like, yeah, I know. I was just frustrated with
I know.
myself.
I was just doing my LA impression from Seinfeld. Just practicing.
You're what?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Hot.
I found out that Julia Louis-Dreyfus has been married since the 80s today. And that kind of blows my mind.
That is crazy. Wow.
I think she got married in 87.
That is nuts. During the Rat's Nest hair days.
One time. No, I'll tell you this off the pod.
Okay.
I'll tell you it off the pod.
One time I met Lana and she kissed me.
Yep. Which is crazy because she's been married more than
that's
my
why
whole
it's so
life.
crazy.
But yeah, then we come into the bottom of the second. By my count, Baggage is down by 20. By their count, Baggage is down by 19.
You really can't get over this.
I can't. Well, it's just in case. In my head, it's just like somebody's listening to this who already watched the game, and they're like, it was actually 53.
Did you realize it was actually this? Yeah.
Idiot.
That's like
I wasn't paying attention for the entirety of the rest of the podcast. I came in right here.
Yeah, that's a good point. But like to sidetrack quickly again, but in relation to the game, that's like when that attempted wicket throw skimmed the net, and Jimmy's like, before anyone fucking says anything, shut up in the comments. Before you say, oh, Jimmy makes up rules on the fly, blah, blah, blah. Like, I also know that feeling very well too, because there's times where I'm playing a game with someone who doesn't know like my house rules, and I forget. Like, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes with you to like laying out every single possible scenario because like, oh, it's probably not going to come up. But it's also, it seems fair to just play, and as things come up, I'm like, oh, that is a rule. But then as kids, the other kid always thinks you're lying and making shit up.
Yep.
So I know that sentiment, especially as someone like Jimmy who makes up a lot of games.
You make things up a lot in your favor.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely true. So it's very fair of them to think I'm a cheater because I am.
Oh, I forgot. There's actually no outs recorded in the top of the first, but in the bottom and on, then that's when outs start.
Yeah, and I forgot to tell you that the second period is when anything that you score counts for my score.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's just house rules. It's just house
Clinton
rules.
Yeah,
it's house rules. Sanjay starts off bowling. And I want to say this. The fact, and we already talked about this a little bit, the fact that they got through 2 complete overs before losing the game is incredible to me.
Yeah, the fact
they
that
did
got
a
into
really,
the third
really
is nuts.
good job. Jimmy and Sanjay both led up. Sanjay first, 12 runs in the first over of the third, 7 runs in the second.
Solid.
First over of the second, and then 7 runs in the second. Partially, it was because Baggage was saying, we don't have to be hyper aggressive right now because we
like
can
strategy.
But the other part is a lot of the fact that Jimmy and Sanjay are very good bowlers. Jimmy's definitely figuring it out. Sanjay's figuring it out how to hide everything. Jimmy
can
runs.
like manipulate a ball pretty well. He's been figuring out how just to harness that power.
Right. Shea gets 2 runs to start it. Then this was funny, I thought. Sanjay kind of threw the ball at Shea, who was already mentally ready to swing, and was able to get to the ball before the ball got to him, hit it to the side for 1. Rob gets a dot. Then he gets dotted again as the ball almost goes in the magic hole.
Like rimmed out.
Then Sanjay throws a wide, and they run for 2, and that was when, in my mind, I said, Baggage won. Because now Sanjay can't come back. Even if they get through Jimmy, they still have to face Luke. And Luke has let up a crazy amount of runs in this tournament.
Yeah, led up to most in and over, famously.
Yep, most and over, famously, 31. That was the only over he actually also bowled. Then you have a hit from Shea back to Sanjay. And the guys run it. Sanjay throws it to the wicket where Rob was still standing safely. He missed. They completed the one. Shea started to go back for a second, but was trapped in no man's land, and they got him out, run out. So only 1 run scored, and then Rob hits a 6 to end it. Jimmy Norp then comes in to bowl dot ball, then a wide, and at that point, all hope is lost because, like we said, Luke has given up a lot of runs. We haven't seen Dan bowl yet. Then, Jimmy just shows off why that was a mistake by getting another dot ball to Shea. Then this is where the inexperience kind of comes in. We saw the other one where Sanjay went to the wrong wicket because he had Shea dead if he went to the other wicket before. Yeah. But Shea hits the ball back to Jimmy, who is ready to throw home to get Shea out because he's learning from the play before.
Right.
But this time, if he had turned around, he would have had Rob dead to rights.
Yep.
That's 2 potential wickets that were missed entirely because of just a little bit of an experience. It happens.
Yeah, just a little bit of sloppy pay. Ooh.
Interesting. Pretty good.
I don't know what that would be. Like greasy money? I don't know.
Yeah, here you go.
Here you go.
I put this on the grill.
Yeah, it's messy, it's sloppy, it's inexperience, and I think the inexperience shows a little bit in throwing all these wides too, because they don't have people that throw consistently over the strike zone. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Again, over and over again, we'll say this: it's round robin.
Round robin's for learning. Round robin is for learning. Like you want to win. You don't want to be one of the bottom.
You're competing,
feeds.
Of course.
But for this team specifically, I think a loss to Baggage would have done a lot more damage to Baggage than this loss to Woogas did to Woogas.
Right. I think it would hurt their confidence. Like, wait, we're supposed to be really good, and we just lost 2 games in a row. We're going into this as a really low seed, maybe the lowest. So you're right. I think Woogas can come out of this feeling pretty solid that they put up a great fight against someone that's supposed to be a juggernaut.
I mean, Baggage has 3 players from the former Blitzball, from the former Ball and Play League tournament, and 3 players who were in the Captain's League tournament.
Right.
The Woogas have 2.
Yep.
It's a very, very different scenario. Mm-hmm. Jimmy then gets the ball hit back to him, who doesn't fuck it up this time, gets Shea out as Shea hits it back to Jimmy. Jake comes in. Again, what does Jake do? Time to flex my muscles.
And actually hits one.
No. He gets dotted first.
No.
And then he hits a 6.
Then he puts the muscles away and hits a 6.
He goes, oh, okay.
Fine.
Hits a 6. I'll put my muscles away. Hits a 6. The video says they tie it up. And then Luke comes in for the end. He has to pitch a maiden over to bring this to extras. Or by my count, I know I keep saying it, win the game. Ends up throwing first pitch wide, walk off. No balls faced, no balls thrown, no good balls thrown in the final over. Baggage wins the game.
Sad walk off.
72.
Sad walk off, but an exciting game. It was a very, very active game. Like I had both wife of the pod and Brian in the room watching it with me, and I'm so glad that he was over to watch this game in particular because it was like such a ball in play game. Like the balls constantly, people were running back and forth like crazy. Yeah. There was balls being thrown everywhere. It was a really good product. Even if at times it was messy, it was also just fun to watch because there was constant action. It was a great product. Just one of the more fun games we've seen so far in this early round.
I think this is the best game of the tournament so far.
Probably
it's been 5 games,
yeah.
But I do think it's the best game of the tournament so far.
Yeah, this is pretty deep into the regular season. Halfway.
I mean, I guess there's 2 games left in the regular season.
Yeah.
Right? Every team plays twice.
So it'll be 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, good job to both teams.
Good job to us.
I think Woogas is really putting it together. They're starting to put it together. You're seeing Jimmy get, less and less runs when he's bowling. You're starting to see Luke hit more. You're starting to see Jimmy not really hit more this game per se. Mm-hmm. But Sanjay definitely got his reps at the plate today.
Yeah.
With facing 12 balls. Dan Rourke doing his job, getting 2 hits on 4 balls faced, but they were both overs. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were both boundaries, like a boundary and a 6. But enough about that, Brendan. Who's your player of the game?
Player of the game. My player of the game is Rob Sirocco. Oh,
Wow.
what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say is before you did.
Usually we try and steal the player from each other. You just wanted to steal a random word from my sentence.
Yeah. Were you trying to look for like the type of word it was? Is that what you're trying to think of?
Yeah,
You're like, well, it's not an article. It's not a conjunction.
right. I don't know what it would be.
Fuck. Shit.
Yeah, is a word. Rob Sirocco is a man. Brian couldn't believe that he's a man with children. He's like, that kid looks like he's fucking 17. He's like, he's older than us and he's got children.
And he's also rock solid.
Rock Sirocco solid. Absolutely.
Rock Sirocco, player of the game.
Yeah, he's very good. He faced 10 balls today. He got 8 hits on those, 5 boundaries. Literally more than half of his hits ended up in boundaries. And then one of them was a 6-2. So you could say 3/4 of his hits ended up being either 4s or 6s. It's
You
beautiful.
could.
It's a beautiful thing. You could. I wouldn't say that, but you could say that.
You
Might
could.
confuse some people. He also pitched. He pitched a little bit too. He did a little bit of twirling on the mound, as they say.
Bold.
He had twirling.
Well,
It's
you said he
twirling.
pitched. You said pitched. I said bold.
I said he twirled and twirled and twirled.
You said he pitched a little. I mean, just actually he bowled a little.
Peter, being a
Turkey.
being a hook-nosed Italian, when you eat pasta, do you twirl on a spoon or just on the plate?
Like what are we talking about? Penne or like rigatoni or
like
something?
something that would require twirling.
On a
Like penne.
spoon.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. My mom would always take
just-
she needed to have a spoon.
I pick it up like
When
this
she-
and I twirl it in the air.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. My mother always had a spoon to take with a fork and then add the pasta to the spoon, then twirl on the spoon.
Interesting. I know people who would like put their fork in the plate and twirl it like that. Every time I've ever tried to do that, I've gotten all of the
I do it
pasta.
like that, just straight, and that happens too.
And then you get a big mouthful of pasta because you have to commit.
Yeah, and then you try and power through and talk through the whole bite. How was work today?
Yeah, I don't know if you got it, but what I said was, "So how was your day, honey?"
But we're both doing. We're on a date. We both have mouths full of pasta. We're both saying the same thing to each other, but we can't hear a word. Rob Sirocco twirled really well today as he bowled on the mound. He threw one over, not a ton, but when he was asked, he was tapped on the shoulder to get in there. He only gave up 6 runs.
6
Nuts. One of the best overs we've seen by a bowler.
testicles.
6 testicles. I have 6 testicles.
I have 6 testicles.
Sir, this is just a physical.
So, hey doc, I have 6 testicles. Like I'm literally examining you now. You only have 2. Oh,
Sir, this is a drive-through
plus
Chick-fil-A.
4.
I have 6 testicles.
I'm drive through Chick-fil-A. How about you check out my nuts? Yes, I have 6 of them.
I like this guy.
This is a good bit.
Way to go, Rob Sirocco.
Ready to go, Rock Sirocco. Really good job. I think just the fact that he had just as many boundaries as half the amount of balls he faced is kind of insane.
Yeah.
You know,
a good ratio.
6 total boundaries and 6s combined on 10 balls faced is kind of nutty.
Kind of nutty.
Yeah, it's
nuts.
what you want. It's what you expect from the regular season MVP
Absolutely.
of Captain's League. We saw at the end that was taken away from him a little bit. Or regular season offensive player we saw at the end that was taken away from him by Luke. So this kind of getting the one up on him again, fueling that like ball in play, who's the best striker rivalry a little bit. Fake rivalry that I'm creating. I like it. I like it. I like it.
It might be real.
Good job, Rob Sirocco.
Good job.
The Rock Sirocco. Yay. Play of the game. Father Shea is somebody who does not lack confidence.
No.
He definitely does not lack confidence. But he needed something to fire him up a little bit. He needed something to announce him on the stage that is Ball in Play 2. And for me, that was when he did that little cutesy-tootsy, jump across the plate, shovel it to the back wall. There was so much flair with it.
Yeah.
Oh, and also that's my play of the game.
Oh, okay.
there was so much flair with it. We saw him have a decent inning bowling. Then he has to come up and say, you know what? I had the worst performance out of everybody striking last time besides Dan, but that wasn't really his fault. He never faced a ball. Dan from We Got Ice, not Dan from the Woogas. Jumps up, shows off that he could do he has a little bit of flair. It didn't go great for the rest of the game. He did okay, maybe a little bit below average, but he's starting to put it together, and he's getting the confidence that he, like maybe people should be scared of him. Yeah. He's getting this in his head, and it's like maybe I'm not all talk. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that none of that was going through his head because he seems like a supremely confident guy.
Right, but I agree with you. This is his way of validating all the confidence that we've been seeing so far, and we also we love seeing those kind of plays. We're still not. I'm not over them yet. I want to see more and more of those flicks. They're very fun. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Like, hey, I'm a cricket player, and I've had so much gravitas in this tournament, and I haven't shown you why. It's coming.
It's coming, baby.
It's coming.
Coming, baby.
Come on, baby.
BBD Memorial Defensive Player of the Game.
Here's my finger. Here's the button I'm touching. BBD, BBD, beep, 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 BBD, beep, 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 BBD, BBD, beep, 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 BBD, beep, 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 remember?
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I think that the best part about this is this joke that you're pressing a button and something is playing could only potentially trick someone if they're not watching the YouTube.
I don't even know if it could
because
do it
you are very animated. You're like, watch it back.
Well, now you just blew it.
Oh, Spider's back?
I think I said watch your back. I'm scared.
Oh, watch your fucking back.
Watch your fucking back.
That Spider's back from the last night, Brendan.
Spider's got a Ghostface Killer mask on.
The Spider's back with a Ghostface Killer mask on, Brendan.
Can't handle that.
What was the bad guy from Scary Movie called? Doofy? Was that it? Was that the guy's name?
I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time.
He was the sister, the brother of one of the people who died, and he played like a dumb guy, but he was
the killer. Okay, I believe you.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler for Doofy.
The defensive player of the game. I'm going to have to give it to Jake
the
Storiale. We wanted to give it to Rob, but Rob got player of the game. Because Rob was defending a lot of balls. We talked about it for every one that he let through. The other, he blocked another.
Right.
Jake at wicketkeeper was something I was not expecting to see go like really hard. I thought he would be a very okay wicketkeeper. We saw like
quicker on his feet than you'd think. He's very nimble. He had a really nice throw down to the far wickets. He's very agile. He really is very aware back there.
He did a very good job. Very good job at the back. The throw down for the wicket, particularly. We've seen people go for it earlier in the tournament and just full on miss the bails.
Just fly right up to the booth.
I believe there was an earlier part in the game where he threw the ball and hit Jimmy on the back. Mm-hmm. But he
didn't do that this time.
Didn't do it this time. Jake, very, very impressive game behind the
bails.
We still don't know. I guess the striking bail.
Yeah,
not really a bails.
I know.
Really, really good job. Deserved player of the game. A defensive player of the game.
I love you.
We are in love with you, Jake. Come back on the pod so that we could propose to you.
Mm-hmm. Please take us, your wives.
Take my wedding ring and be my husband.
Take my wife.
Take my wife and me, Jake, please.
It's a weird ending to the episode.
It's not an ending to the episode because we still have our what to watch for.
Oh, what?
I don't believe it's at time of recording. I don't believe it's been announced what game is next. I reached out to BBD. He says that it's probably Hookline versus McFlurry Power. So we're gonna run with that. Brendan,
run with it.
Hookline Sinkers, McFlurry Power. What is your what to watch for?
My what to watch for is let's see McFlurry Power not stink up the whole show. I
Unbelievable.
want to see K-Mac twirl it a little bit. Let's see what he's got.
A-Mac looking like a K snack.
Yeah, I think, maybe that is true. I want to
Got him.
see if it is the same day that they recorded this game. He might still be hungover. He might not do very well. But let's see if he can pitch a little, bowl a little bit. Maybe that'll help him on the striking bails. We'll see if he's able to get rid of his uppercut and actually be productive at the plate. I want to see K-Mac as the captain and leader of this franchise remind everyone that they're on a mission to sweep the Warehouse Cup.
Yep.
Can't forget that.
Warehouse Pup.
The Warehouse Pup Cup.
But then, okay. My what to watch for will be for hook, line, sinkers.
You fucking better.
Like we said, very similar to this game, where yes, hook, line has a win already. But it's kind of like baggage, where a loss hurts hook, line more than a loss hurts McFlurry Power. For McFlurry Power, this is fully about reps. A win would be great. A win would be so nice. I'm sure they want to win. But this game is more so about getting used to the ball, getting used to bowling, getting used to striking, getting used to running, understanding what's going on. If I recall correctly, McFlurry Power's big issue in the first game was they got a lot of ones. Lot of ones.
Yeah.
They need to figure out how to get a hold of this ball and how to get boundaries and how to get sixes.
Line drive stroke.
Line drive stroke-a-boke. Let's see. In their last game, they had a total of 10 boundaries or sixes off of 36 balls faced. In comparison, Rotten had 16. Or, I'm sorry, 13. But most of these are, came from Colin hitting boundaries and Jack at the very end of the game figuring out how to absolutely smash the ball. On the bowling side, they didn't really do poorly.
Colin got touched up a little bit.
Colin got 33 runs against him in under 2 overs bowled. Justin had 21 runs against him. I want to see if they try and get K-Mac in there to bowl a little bit.
Yeah.
Hook line kind of knows their roles already. This isn't going to be really an experimental game. They're just going to try and go in with, as big a lead as they can. So I'm very interested to see what happens here.
Yeah. Let's see if hook line gives a whomping.
Womp.
Womp womp.
Wham, wham. But yeah, who do you think's going to win?
Hook line sinkers.
Hook, line, sinkers.
Easy.
If they don't win, I'll be shocked. I'll be excited because that means this will be a fun
game,
tournament, but I will be shocked.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's right. Hopefully BBD gave me good intel.
By saying, Peter, we won this game.
Peter, we actually won this game already.
Peter, why are you asking about this game? We already won it.
Peter, you asked for the final, right? You asked what the final was going to be?
Yeah, we won that shit too.
We already won that. We won that 100-0. Idiot.
It sounds like BBD to me.
Take it easy, man.
Very aggressive.
Drake and Josh. Brendan. Oh, wait. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm trying to do this now. I'm trying to remember.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody,
Thank
for listening.
you.
Thank you for watching, if you're watching. Brendan, what should these lovely people be drinking?
You lovely sons of bitches. You should drink Subtlety is the drink made by me. You can find it at thesubtlety.com. You'd use code HobbyBoys for $2 off your 12-pack. The Hobby Boys is a podcast that me and Peter were just talking about off air before. It's very fun, very good. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. You can also listen to Lonely Boys, the podcast about Gossip Girl. And if you are here with us still, you can subscribe to the Blitzball Boys YouTube channel if you're listening. Go and subscribe to the Blitzball Boys YouTube as well, because you get to see funny, cool stuff like me and Peter. What did we do today? We smiled kind of weird at the beginning of the show.
We smiled
we
weird
saw
at the
Peter's
beginning of
hook
the show.
nose that he could do. The Stregonona nose is fun.
Yep.
Yesterday, I think last episode, no, maybe it was in another podcast, the Blitzball coverage that we do. You can also listen to that our Blitzball coverage of the World Series. I pointed to Peter with my phone like this. So that's also like good visual humor? Question mark?
Yeah, it's good gags. We do
gags.
lots of gags.
Lots of gags. So subscribe or else.
or else. I will plug, as always, my brother Matthew Del Rey. He's a good boy. I love him very much. Give him a hug and kiss if you see him. God knows he needs it. He's the most attractive man on Nick's Twitter. He's a good guy.
That's right.
Please subscribe on the YouTube, like Brendan said. Follow us on Spotify. Get on the Noti Gang, like BBD.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach out to us on the Twitsters.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Posk, Ruppy Puppy, Plays He Stars. Beyond that, Brendan, ask me the question.
You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
Bye-bye.
Bye.